Okay, what if I told you that one of the most advanced, most mind-bending ideas in modern physics, a theory about the very origin of our universe, was actually mapped out in incredible detail over 2,500 years ago? Yeah, I know it sounds like science fiction, but honestly, the parallels are going to blow your mind.
For as long as most of us have been alive, we've heard the story. The universe began with the Big Bang. Simple, right? But what if that wasn't the absolute beginning? What if something came before? And you know, this isn't just some late-night dorm room question anymore. It's a genuine puzzle that has physicists stumped, and it's forcing them to look for what might have happened before the beginning. So, to really understand why scientists are even looking for an alternative, we have to start with the big, glaring problem sitting right at the heart of the Big Bang theory itself.
You see, the theory predicts that if you hit rewind on the universe, everything, all the stars, all the galaxies, all of space itself, crushes down into this single impossible point. They call it a singularity. And it's a point of zero volume but infinite density. At that extreme, all of our physics, everything we know about how the universe works, just stops. It breaks down. It's basically a mathematical wall, a sign that says, hey, something's missing here.
So, how do you solve a problem like a singularity? Well, one of the most popular, and I gotta say most elegant ideas is, what if you just get rid of the beginning altogether? And that's where we get to the theory of the Big Bounce. The Big Bang model we all know gives us a straight line. Time starts and it just moves forward. But the Big Bounce, that's a circle. It suggests our universe is just one link in a potentially infinite chain. It was born from the collapse of a previous cosmos, and it's destined to collapse itself, which will then give birth to the next one. It's this endless, cosmic cycle of expansion and contraction.
And this isn't just a cool idea. Physicists have proposed real ways this could actually work. One of the big ones is loop quantum cosmology. The idea here is that space-time isn't smooth and continuous, but it's made of these tiny, indivisible chunks, kind of like pixels on a screen. So as the universe collapses, it literally can't get any smaller than one of these fundamental units. All that pressure builds up and forces it to rebound. Then there's the ekpyrotic model, which is even wilder. It imagines our entire universe as like a giant sheet of paper, a brain, floating in a higher dimension. And in this model, a Big Bang is just what happens when our brain smacks into another one, a cosmic collision that resets everything.
Okay, so we've got this seriously cutting-edge idea of a cyclical, bouncing universe. Pretty cool, right? But here's the twist. This new idea, it's not new. Not at all. In fact, it's an almost perfect echo of a cosmic map drawn up thousands of years ago.
Just look at this. Ancient Buddhist texts describe what they call a Mahakapa, a great cosmic cycle, as having 4 distinct phases. First, there's Samvata, an era where the cosmos contracts. That's a dead ringer for the Big Crunch. Then comes Samvatatayi, a period where everything is just a void. That sounds an awful lot like the bounce itself, doesn't it? And out of that void, you get Vivata, an era of cosmic expansion. That's their Big Bang. And finally, Vivatatayi, a stable period where the world is habitable. That's right now. The structural parallel here isn't just close, it's uncanny.
And the timescale they imagined for just one of these cycles is, well, it's hard to even wrap your head around. They had to use these incredible metaphors to try and explain it. So imagine a solid rock mountain, miles and miles high. And once every 100 years, someone comes and just gently strokes it with a piece of silk. They said that entire mountain would be worn away to dust before a single Mahakaihika was finished.
Or how about this one? Picture a giant city walled with iron, and it's filled to the very top with tiny mustard seeds. If you took out just one single seed every 100 years, you'd empty the whole city before one cosmic cycle was over. The point is, the scale of this ancient vision completely dwarfs the 13.8 billion years we think our universe has been around. For them, our entire cosmic history would just be a tiny blip.
Okay, but this raises a huge question, and it's a question for both modern physics and for ancient philosophy. If the whole universe collapses and reboots, how does anything survive? Is all information, all memory, every bit of consciousness just wiped clean? And get this, the Buddhist texts are shockingly specific about how the universe ends. It's not just some vague collapse. They describe cycles of destruction by fire, where 7 suns appear in the sky, which sounds an awful lot like a star-going red giant, doesn't it? Then there's destruction by a caustic water that dissolves everything, kind of like matter undergoing a phase transition, and even destruction by a great wind that scatters the very atoms of existence, which sounds hauntingly similar to the Big Rip theory from modern cosmology. But here is the absolute key to their whole model. The destruction is never total. It's more like a partial crunch. The cataclysm, whether it's fire, water, or wind, it always stops at a certain level, and it leaves a higher, more subtle realm of existence completely untouched.
So, how does consciousness survive the reset? Well, the text described this safe zone, the Abhassara, or radiant realm that acts like a kind of cosmic arc. As the lower worlds are being destroyed, beings are reborn there, safe and sound. You can almost think of it like uploading the software of consciousness to a cosmic cloud server while the hardware of the physical universe gets a complete reformat. Then, once the new universe is ready, that consciousness downloads right back in.
And these first beings to come back, they're described as being made of mind, not matter. They're luminous, they float through the air, they don't even need to eat. They only become solid physical creatures after they start to consume this primordial, savory earth of the new world. This really mirrors the way our universe cooled after the Big Bang, you know? A transition from a crazy high-energy radiation-dominated state to the cooler matter-dominated one we live in now.
So far, the parallels in the how are they're stunning. But the most profound part of this whole comparison, and the place where these two worldviews totally diverge, comes down to one simple question. Why? Why does the universe bounce at all?
For modern science, the bounce is just mechanical. It's driven by impersonal forces we know, like gravity and quantum physics. It just happens because the laws of the universe say so. But for Buddhism, it's a completely different story. The bounce is a moral, participatory process. The drivers aren't physical forces, they're mental ones. Karma, the cosmic law of cause and effect, and something called tanha, which is this deep, persistent craving for existence itself. I mean, listen to this quote from an ancient text. The great cloud arises due to the karma of beings. What that's saying is that the cloud of matter that forms a new universe does so because of the collective actions and intentions of the beings who are going to live in it. In this worldview, consciousness isn't just a passenger along for the ride, it's the engine. The universe gets created for us as a stage for our moral drama to play out.
And this leads to the ultimate purpose, which totally flips our modern perspective on its head. We might hear eternal bouncing universe and think, wow, that's beautiful, a kind of cosmic immortality. But in Buddhism, it's the exact opposite. It's a trap. It's an endless, repetitive cycle of suffering. And the entire point of understanding this cosmic model is to become so disenchanted with it, to see it as a burning house that you have to escape, not as a cozy home to live in forever.
So in the end, it leaves us with this huge, profound question. Is our cosmos just a random machine bouncing along according to impersonal laws of physics? Or is it a moral engine, powered by the consciousness of its own inhabitants? Because if we really are on some kind of endless cosmic ride, the ultimate question isn't just how it works. It's how in the world do you get off?